what's funny here is who wouldn't laugh when it's told to Sarah that she's going to have a child? 89, she was 10 years younger. So that finds us all laughing and chuckling along the way. But stranger things have happened. I'm guessing that would be one of the strangest ones. But I've seen a lot of things. So I'm going to weave this story into what I want to share with you. And I'm going to have to time myself. It's actually fairly exciting research that's been done. And Tripp Fuller is a theologian and an anthropologist, and doesn't have a position as a professor any place in the country, but on the internet. And he's pretty profound. And so there he was in all of his comedic wonder at the seminary yesterday and on internet. So he talks about research that's been done by an anthropologist studying, how cultures develop and how religion comes to be. And I think the title of the work that he was doing yesterday was "We are wired for worship." We're wired to do what we're doing right now. And part of the thing is up until very recently in human record, very recent, we basically could sustain having about maximum maybe 50 people in a group, and he called that the tribe. And they were trying to figure out why you don't get bigger than 50 people in a tribal system. Why is that? And there's lots of reasons for it, but talking about our need in our body's response to feel safe. And what we know in research with other primates and whatnot, and it gets much bigger than 50, you start to have homicides. People start to kill each other over competition for food and whatnot, but that's not the only reason. And then he had us go through this little thing that I thought was really, really nice. He said, it was a slide, and it says 3 seconds per centimeter. 3 seconds per centimeter. And then he told us all to put our hand up. I'll have you do that. Put your hand up like that. However you can get your arm up, if you can get your arm up. And just take your hand above your arm, and I want you to start at your wrist and start pulling your hand back when I say so at the rate of 3 seconds per centimeter. A centimeter is about that long. A second is about this long. Tick, tick, tick. So bring your hand slowly at the rate of 1 centimeter, 3 seconds per centimeter. 1 second per 3 centimeters. What? Just move your fingers, would you? And as you do that slowly, not faster and not slower, and then go back. Right? It's kind of slow. Got that. It's hard not to see you guys. That's the rate at which primates will groom each other. Mm-hmm. Right? They don't go faster and they don't go slower. They just start to, stuff off of them, and then they do it in their hair. Yeah, I'll say that later. But they'll do it to each other. And when somebody does that to your head, if you haven't had that done for a long time, go get a haircut or a shampoo, or just ask somebody to just rub your scalp. Not fast, but just slowly. It resets your whole nervous system. It's called grooming. And that grooming is not just to get rid of the bugs off of Kent's arm. It's about resetting us to be actually in tune with each other. And that is essential. Because if that does not happen, homicides do. It just happens. So 50 people is about the max. that you can have, and then it starts to break down. If you get over 50 people, you have to have other mechanisms to provide that resetting of our inner system. This is where religion comes in, and is pretty recent in the human experience. You know, just a few thousand years that we have this organized religion piece, and our population started to grow. It's kind of like anthropologists always said, you know, when we were hunter-gatherers, we were tribal. We were just small groups. But then when we became farmers, we stayed in one place. But the idea of we're farming, therefore we stay in one place is wrong. We became so big, our society grew so much that we had to do something so that we wouldn't have to move around and get the food, so the food came after. So what do we do when we're in a group of 500 people, or Lauderdale's what, 2,700? And every once in a while we have a homicide. It's not a secret, it happens. But we're pretty crime-free for the most part here. But just on a human scale, for anthropology's sake, you put that many people together, you need mechanisms to reset us. And religion has served that. And religion could be all kinds of things. It could be, you could have when was the last time you felt like you were in sync with a lot of people at once, and you just felt like, what was it during the first hymn that we just did? Some of us, I mean, that's true. I mean, I really enjoy that hymn. I can hardly even tell you what the words are, but when I start singing it, those fit. But it's the song and singing it with other voices. We were grooming each other there in that act. And as we do the familiar liturgy, it's just a map. So you don't have to be anxious about what we're going to do after this. We have to be anxious a little bit because I am who I am. We don't know what's going to happen next. But for the most part, I try to stay with the map. But we need a map so people don't wonder. Like if you haven't been here before, Chicago and St. Anthony Park, I would be nervous if I was sitting for the first time here listening to me. It's like anything could happen. But you've got a map. And the map slows you down and lets you... The other thing that gets us a little bit of being centered here in this room is the Mennonites are coming at 10:30. And so no matter what he says or does, or how much he just goes on, there's going to be a stop to this worship experience in one way or another. That allows you, okay, we're not going to be here all afternoon. So there are all these mechanisms. So with that said, you know, in order to grow from being a tribe of 50 or less to something bigger, something has to happen. One of the questions that was asked by Tripp was, really, when was the last time you felt like you were one with a huge crowd, not with 50 people or 30 people like here, but 100 people or 1,000 people or hundreds of thousands of people? Just think about that. When did you feel like, okay, I belong, there's a place for me? This is actually joyful, or it's sad. It doesn't have to be a good emotion or a bad emotion. Just think about it for a second. Just take a moment. When was the last time you had that experience of just being, oh, wow? If you come up with one, just let me know. Just say it.
Palm Sunday afternoon when we went to that.
Palm Sunday afternoon at the rally that we went to at the Capitol. I forget how many. They were hoping for 10,000 people there. That's right, you know, standing together. Anybody else? Anybody ever been to a concert?
Minnesota Orchestra this last week.
The Minnesota Orchestra. you might not even know the piece, but all of a sudden all the cellos start to do this thing. And I don't know what they do or how it comes out. Or the violins, or in the French horn. It starts to hit this together. And all of a sudden you tingle everywhere and you realize everybody, half the people have their eyes closed. And there's something about being one with everybody. You're grooming each other through that experience. You're being groomed. And it's not only valuable, it is essential so that we don't kill each other. Right? And we do it all over the place. You're getting it every place you go. You get that experience. Day in the park, walking the dogs, and you come to find 7 other dogs are being walked at the same time, and you're walking through the streets. And you know the dogs, and people know you, and you realize for a second there that, oh my gosh, we have walked about a mile, and it felt like I just started. It's like you're being reset. Go from your father's tribe. Go from your father's house of this nicely controlled, and it's essential that you bond over the one thing that you can say is saving your life or is responsible. In the case of Abraham's family, they had a shared belief system, shared lands, shared wells where they would go for water. They had all of that together, and they knew that as long as they told the stories around the fire, light a fire around any night, and invite anybody around to sit there. Don't even say a word, and you will reset. God says, go from your father's tribe. Go and went. Go away. And I will bless you as you went. In your wenting, I will bless you as you go into the unknown. And I will make of you a great nation. 50 or less? Great nation. In fact, so many people, they will outnumber the stars. It's a lot of murder. It's a lot of chaos. Unless you do something interesting, and it happened about the time of Abraham. And tribal gods, your God will be my God, your people will be my people. Gods became God. Right? So it wasn't just the Jewish God, the Christian God, the Muslim God. It was God. And the difference being, if everybody has access to the universal God, then you're your brother and sister. You don't kill them, right? Until you can get to the point where you can say, God is God of everybody, and God loves all, it's not going to work. If you want to keep the death rate down, and you want to keep the ability to be fed and watered, and not so in fear of everybody, if you've got 50 people, you can kind of work it out, mostly. But if you've got 500,000 people, you got to have something that can hold you together, and you can name it different things. It's why it's an amazing thing that in America here we created this experience that, you know, there will be no religion established, but all will be respected from every direction, and we will honor each other, whatever you call this God, or don't call this God. And by doing that, you give respect and dignity to everybody. It's an experiment. It's the first place where we could say, no, we don't put up the 10 Commandments in the state capitol. We don't do that because we have to share the room with Islam and Hindu religion and Buddhists. I mean, where do we stop? You know, we all honor that within ourselves. And the only way you can stop the suicide bombers or killing your neighbors or, once again, you know, mass shootings is by saying that we are brothers and sisters, all of us. It's pretty profound. I am your God, the one and only God, but I come in many faces. So when there's somebody comes walking by, and you're not on your father's land, and by the way, father's land, I love pointing this out, because Sarah and Abraham both had the same father. Go pick it apart. That system allowed for that marriage to happen. And we say, oh my gosh, if you go away from your father's protected lands where they have their protected ways of grooming each other slowly, it's got to be a symphony. And it's got to last at least an hour. At least an hour. And all the people that put on that symphony, and all the people that put on this worship, and all the people that make the pizzas and serve them to the people on Wednesday if the rain keeps away, it takes time. It takes hours to roll out the dough and cut the vegetables, to fire the oven. Slow. It can't be done fast. And in so doing, we reset ourselves. So then Abraham sees somebody outside the tent. And he goes out there and he sees them. And the first thing I would do, if I was on a foreign land that I didn't know, and I was not under the protection of my father's tribe and all of that defense, I wouldn't run out to them. If they come by and knock, maybe so. But no, Abraham goes out to them and he finds them. He says, please, I don't know who you are, but please come, stop by here, have some water. It's been a long journey. And because he wants to give them water and food, and it's survival. If he doesn't make contact with the people he comes across and treat them in a decent way, it's going to come back. It's important, God says, if you're going to be out here being the father and mother of a great, great generation, more than you can count the stars. If you want to be a part of that, you better start treating every stranger as though they're your brother and sister. In fact, the way you treat your brothers and sisters, you actually got to do it better than the way you treat your brothers and sisters. You got to do even better than that. Because most of us hide ourselves from our brothers and sisters. Oh, here comes Tracy again. I better get out of here. Go and invite them in. And when they invite them in, something happens. And it's trust and it's grooming. And it resets everybody. No longer do they have to wait in the tent wondering, I wonder who those three were that they passed by. They just kept going. I wonder if they're going to tell other people to come back and raid us. I wonder if they're going to head it off at the pass. Just go and join up with these people. So what happens to a culture when we don't do that anymore? Or what happens in a culture where you do that, and you've forgotten for a long time that that's what our calling is? And the next thing you know, we've all got whistles. And we're remembering that we're responsible for our brothers and sisters. And we're actually ashamed of the fact we don't know their names and they've lived here for years. But we want to protect them now. We're woken up. We're woken up. It's a Niemöller quote, I am just a little bit nervous. You have a Catholic here from Chicago. And it's a dangerous place to be. So mom's Eileen on the screen there. Mom, I got a Catholic here from Chicago, like St. Sylvester's. There's a big church. Lots of people park their cars all over the place. And man, they made a lot of noise. We're a little Lutheran church up the street. Just be quiet. Maybe the Catholics won't hear us and come and kill us. We're so afraid of each other. Tribal, right? We're connected. It's not just the people of peace or the people of Lauderdale. It's like, your name again is an old, what's your name? Adela. Adela from from Mount Olivet Church on Chicago Avenue. Construction so bad, decided to come up here and visit us. And maybe never again. But you're our sister. You're welcome. Dave, you're welcome. You're our brother. And it doesn't matter what church you go to, it doesn't matter if you don't go to a church. You are a part of us. And it's important for our entire well-being in this church and in this community, in this nation, to be open to you. Not only be open to you, our life depends on it. It just depends on it. I don't know what you believe. I mean, you could believe all kinds of things, but belief comes at the very end. Belief is in the, what do you think about the Bach piece that they're going to play? Nobody says, oh, I think about this, this, and this, and then they start. No, you go and the music is played. And once the music is played, you get swept into it. Or you think, what in the world are they doing? Are they still tuning? And then it pulls you. You don't think about how the score was put together. Maybe you do if you're a piano person, but there's something about the music. If you're thinking about how the meal was made, the chef has more work to do. Because it's supposed to be an experience. So just go into the food. Just go into it. This is the food, people. We go into it together. And what you believe, like I said last week, what you believe about communion doesn't matter. It's the fact that you're joining us and we're eating it together. I guarantee you, all you lifelong Lutherans, there are very few of us left, don't agree with each other if they were really hard-pressed, even among pastors. And that's the great secret. There's a number of pastors here. I'm glad I got ordained and the test is over because I passed. Even though deep down, you know, you don't agree with everything that was put forward. It's about the music. You enter into the music, into the meal, because in the end, I'm not the host, I'm just a wait staff. Right? We're just wait staff. We're servants of the servant, as the text in the hymn said. It's beautiful. That's why it's essential. It's really interesting. I'm gonna stop here in a second. That'll help reset your. I'm gonna stop. I promise. We've done so many things here for decades to help our neighbors. And in the end, what we came to find out is that the neighbors really have helped us. At the very beginning, it's like, oh, if we do Christmas in August and fix people's homes, maybe they'll become members. Well, you look around here, and I don't think there's anybody here present now or in the past, maybe a handful of people that ever became members here because we fixed their roof or their plumbing or their electric. But they are as present in the life of this place that we are still here with this small group. Look at this small group. Sometimes I'm so glad we've got Zoom because it feels like we're bigger. But it's not about the numbers. It's about the life and how we groom each other. So for over 20 years, we've been working on people's homes. And as I've come to understand and recognize, when we fire up the pizza oven outside, once a month, sometimes more, we see more people, we connect with more people, more neighbors reach out and sit with each other and meet each other. There are people that I've never met that come every single time, and all the pizza is gone. There's never been an exception. We run out of materials, we run out of food. And people are still coming, wandering in. Are you still, we're out of food. That crazy pizza oven is more of a success in providing something that can reset ourselves as a community than anything we could have ever dreamed of. The garden is similar. So do we do the pizza oven so that we can get some members? Or so that we can be neighbors? and we can be reset together. I know there's some of you that look at our books and say, it'd be nice if we had both. Well, we've got the real one. We've got the real one. The one that resets us as we continue to do the work that seems sometimes just hopeless in a society that doesn't meet each other anymore to do the resetting. Well, we can do it here, and we will continue to do it here until the neighbors don't need us to do it anymore. So Chicago, you know, St. Anthony Park.
Few blocks away.
Yeah, I've heard that it exists out there somewhere, St. Anthony Park. The tribe is much bigger than where you're from. The tribe is much bigger than Chicago on the south side. It's so much bigger than your country. It's so much bigger. It's so much bigger than anything you can fathom. And we have a way to connect with each other. It's called hospitality. Just keep stepping out. And when you can, don't wait for them to come, but run out and say, hey, do you know about the pizza that we're making on Wednesday night? And if it gets rained out Thursday night? And if you come a little bit early, you'll be put to work. So come right after if you don't want to work. And then people generally will chuckle, and eventually they start coming and working. If it wasn't for the neighbors, I don't know how we'd do it. Well, we couldn't. So we give thanks for all the hospitality that just flows out of this place and how we are blessed with our neighbors. Welcome. Welcome. Amen.